Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. UConn is your national champion. Final score 82-59, okay? This was a blowout. As the Auburn basketball team taught us, the celebration, BTA. If kids are in the car, cover their ears, and I apologize, but BTA, cover those ears. It's belt to ass. That was a BTA butt whooping for the ages. A belt to ass butt whooping for the ages, okay? UConn, it was actually interesting. It was relatively close at the half. UConn was up by, they were up by about 11 at the half, so it's not as though it was some insurmountable deficit. They outscore South Carolina by another 10 in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter felt like a coronation. For UConn, let me say this. I do believe that this is a special national championship, a different national championship, even at a place that has won 12, okay? And we talked about this a lot when the men won the title in 2023, is when you have such a high level of success and then you struggle relative to your own standard. Now, I know UConn women have not struggled the way that 99.9% of programs have struggled, but when your standard for 30 years was championship or bust, and you get to 2016, you have not won one since, I think there is a conversation about basically, would you ever get back? Would you ever have this moment? And there were some tough moments even as you got deep into the tournament. I remember basically back-to-back buzzer beaters in the semifinal. So you make the Final Four, you lose on a buzzer beater to Mississippi State one year. There was a weird loss to Arizona in the NCAA tournament. Adia Barnes, who just left, by the way, for SMU the last couple of days. So you haven't been able to get over the hump. And then there is the adversity of this specific team and why I'm so happy. So listen, we know the star is Paige Bueckers. Her story has been told time and time again, okay? But Paige Bueckers, this was a girl who basically suffered two relatively catastrophic injuries in her career. We know the story came in rated ahead of Caitlin Clark. This isn't a Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers conversation, I promise, okay? But at the same time, what I will say is that with Paige Bueckers, she hurts her leg. She's out 8-10 weeks, whatever it is, comes back the end of her sophomore year, isn't clearly 100%, then suffers an ACL injury. She misses her whole year. And so you started to see last year the impact that she could have when she was healthy, leading UConn to the Final Four. They lose to Iowa in the national semifinals. And so I'm just happy for her. Comes back and gets to have her moment. Had one of the great tournaments that we have ever seen. Now, admittedly, the national championship game, she probably was not the star, but that doesn't take away from what she did all tournament long. How about this? In the national championship game, she quote-unquote only has 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. But in the Sweet 16, 31, 6 assists, 4 steals, 3 boards, 40 points against Oklahoma in the Sweet 16, and 34 in the second round, the round of 32 against South Dakota State. So one of the great tournaments that we have ever seen from anyone in college basketball history. Beyond that, Azzi Fudd, I just mentioned, it was actually the Final Four MVP. It was not Paige Bueckers. Azzi Fudd is another girl. Azzi Fudd was the National High School Player of the Year coming out of high school. I bring it up because she suffered essentially 2 back-to-back season-ending injuries again herself, okay? Again, coming in as one of the most decorated players in her high school class. Her first 3 years at UConn, did play in 25 games as a freshman. That's still not a full season. As a sophomore, limited to 15 games. Last year, limited to 2 games. And if you remember last year, when UConn made the Final Four, what was the stat? UConn fans, correct me. Was it 4 season-ending injuries to key players on that team? And so you talk about a team that overcame adversity. You saw it in the Final Four. They were for the last couple of years. No one's going to feel sad for UConn,
but they were operating nowhere close to full strength and still making Elite Eight, still making Final Fours, still playing potentially for a national championship. And so I thought Gino Auriemma summed it up best on Sunday when he said, on Sunday morning, I took a walk and I looked up and I said, God, listen, I don't need another one of these rings, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, but these girls deserve it. This is their moment. This isn't about me. And so I'm happy for Paige Beckers. I'm happy for AZ Fudd. I'm happy for all these girls that overcame so much. I'll tell you this, somebody who hasn't overcome much, but she is just awesome, is Sarah Strong. This is the next potential face of women's basketball. No knock on Juju Watkins. Not say that Juju isn't great, but Sarah Strong, 24 points in the national championship game. As a freshman this year, averaged 17 points, 8 boards, and 24 and 15, I should mention, by the way, after 22 and 8 against UCLA on Sunday. So UConn gets the win. Congrats to UConn.